Good morning, everybody. Morning, Matthew.
Good
So,
morning.
so we're here. July 4th just happened, which for the US is a huge celebration of 250 years of quote unquote independence. That idea that we took what was and transformed. We said, like that sort of guidance, that sort of leadership, that way of looking at us, that's really not working. And it was not an easy transition.
Mm.
Our goal moving forward, I thought, okay, so what does that have to do with what we do? Well, over the past couple of years, we've been talking about a radical transformation in how the experience of living with dementia happens for people. How from the first ideas that something is going on different for your brain, for your life, transitions to, oh, this is what is happening, to, oh, okay, so now we know what we're going to call it. But what are we going to do? Because now there's still life to be lived, years and years in many cases. How are we going to do that in a way that allows people to live fully, to live as independently as they can, to live with purpose, to live with joy, be frustrated, be challenged by life, and yet come through it until it's time to not be living anymore. I mean, which all of us will experience. And so we have been working hard to really establish what is the baseline right now. What is our baseline for dementia, the experience? So, Matthew, you work with people a lot, and I do as well. What have we heard from people who are living with changes as far as their perception of how they are viewed, their sense of who they are, what they are, now that they've been labeled or identified? What is that for folks?
Yeah, not good is an understatement. Stigma,
Yeah.
the feeling of can't do anymore, and then becoming sheltered, isolated, put into a box. I mean, all of the above.
So the idea that we are endowed with inalienable rights, and yet and yeah, you get the idea.
Mhm.
Once we develop a brain change, some of those abilities change. Where we are go from child to adolescent to adulthood, and we gain our rights, we gain the responsibility for doing things. We don't have a really good plan for what happens if your capacity to do those things is changing. And particularly, we know this idea of dementia is an ever changing disability. If we could have people use those words, an ever changing disability, a progressive, ever changing disability, that means we should be monitoring, checking, but we should also be supporting and modifying and changing. And so, what we do at Positive Approach, frankly, and Snow Approach Foundation, as a real example of it, is to help people appreciate, so this is what's happening. So, how do we support? How do we include? How do we continue? How do we modify? How do we change? How do we alter? Whether it's environments or tasks or care support or how we view what's happening so that people can continue to live well. And it's not easy, but we're
Mhm.
trying hard to create this idea of an inclusive community that respects differences and yet provides progressive support that varies based on abilities. And that ability could change over the course of days, over the course of weeks, lives. I mean, it's real. And we don't have systems in place for that. It's an all or nothing kind of thing. The one difference in this legal system is it that you're responsible for yourself and your property, or is it just you're responsible for yourself? You can't be your property anymore. And it's interesting how you could be responsible for yourself, but not your property, or the other way around. The idea is, yeah, there are real situations where my ability to appreciate and understand what is being done around me is no longer adequate for me to manage everything around me because I simply can't. However, how that's transitioned really matters. And so, what we've done is create things to help people move from where we are right now, which is not a place most of us would say, oh, I have dementia. All right. So, let's see. What are some things I need to do? And what do those around me need to know? And how should I share that with them? And what about my health? And what about my work? And what about, I mean, that's not what
No,
people are thinking.
no.
And that's not the support they get. We still have way too many folks that go get their diagnosis
Oh,
by email, by something on a chart. It's just written there, and they're told to look at their chart. That would never happen with a cancer. And yet, that's standard in many situations, unless there's a group that's more knowledgeable and skillful in the area of dementia. So, what we have is we have videos, we have courses, we have training programs, we have the opportunity to build skill, but we have it all the way from kid program up through professional expertise, because we believe that until that becomes part of culture, we are going to continue to not have an Independence Day
mm,
and not to have an inclusive community for people living with. We will continue to believe that locking a door and putting people in charge who haven't been trained, who aren't skilled, aren't knowledgeable, and requiring no testing for this ability is okay. We believe that sending someone into someone's home without any preparation should be all right. That having someone next to the person actually be able to make choices, even though the person hasn't necessarily picked them because there isn't someone else. Somehow these things, and one dementia equals another, and one person's experience equals another. Everyone's unique. So we have a lot of work to do,
mm,
but
yeah.
we're starting. And one of the things that we have had the good fortune to have is friendships and
Yeah.
relationships.
Yeah.
And Royden Goodson, due to the changes that he experienced with his wife, Martha, and the support that we were able to provide, has worked with us to develop, through his largesse, the legacy that he's creating for him, for his family, what we call the Goodson Library. And these are very short little clips. And we now have an app. We're an app. 21st century, 20, where are we? Wow. We have an app, and it is currently available on Google Play on the Android system. And within 2 weeks, it's going to be available on the Apple system, the iPhone kind of system, where you can go on and there is a set of content, including the idea of people who are living with some brain changes being more like amazing gems than like global deteriorating people, and those in support requiring the development of abilities to support that with the use of visual, verbal, and touch cueing, and appreciating how we initiate, how we engage, how we assess the situation. So the app is available for free for a certain number of the video clips and all the GEMS material, or you can decide to purchase it per month if you choose. And that's just part of what we do. If you're a family in North Carolina, we have Accepting the Challenge virtually available online for free. If you're a family outside of North Carolina, we are partnered with Dementia Alliance of North Carolina. It's available for $30 for you to watch it. 17 segments on appreciating and understanding what happens. If you're interested in more than that, we have Care Partner Support Series, we have Care Partner Gem Series, we have champion courses. We have a course that can be conducted by our certified community members called Getting to Know Dementia, which is a 6-part community series. And Matthew, you've done that recently somewhere in your community.
Yes, I have. Yeah, and it's amazing how, and it's nothing new. I feel like Teepa, everywhere we've gone, everywhere that we've done anything that we have done that has to do with positive approach to care and all of the tools and resources. So often people say, "Oh my gosh, where has this been? Why don't we talk about this stuff? And why isn't these things readily available?" And I mean, just so
I
many.
wish I'd known that.
I wish I would have known that, or I wish I would have found you years ago, or I
Yeah.
mean, all of these statements.
Or I'm
How
so glad I found you.
I'm so
And I tell everybody about you, which we get both. Because I mean, the work that we've done has sown seeds, and those seeds, we get many more inquiries by, what is it called? Sort of like people come to our website and they aren't coming because of some algorithm. They come because someone told them they should check this out.
Word of mouth. A
Word
lot of
of mouth.
word of mouth.
They
Yes.
look at one YouTube and they figure, oh, ooh, more YouTubes. Okay. But what we're trying to do this year, we are into this radical transformation because we've seen such evidence that the pain, the harm that's done, the neglect, the abuse that goes on, whether intentional or not, is not all right. And so we declare that over the next year, we will do what we can so that in 250 years, the word will change, the message will be different, and life will be improved. You can choose to take the first step forward by checking out the app, by looking at what we have to offer on YouTube, by thinking about, oh, we have books too, if you prefer that, old school. But whatever you pick to explore, expand your awareness, because one never knows when the next person that might be most concerned about this thing we call dementia might be you. Till next time, take care of yourself, take care with your care, and get curious. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, Teepa. Bye, everybody.